With an update on a potential WWE show and more. This is Wrestling Rambles. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Mentioning a candidate that was considered for the TNA Wrestling Hall of Fame class of 2024, Matt Hardy noted on his Extreme Life podcast, "I know there was a big push from a lot of the boys and I'm down with this too. Monty Brown was someone that was up for consideration, but it seemed like they were having a hard time getting a hold of Monty Brown. He's off the grid, it seems like. He would have been a really killer candidate too, considering it was in Detroit." Talking about her recovery after suffering a fractured arm back in July on AEW Collision, Riho wrote on her blog, "I've been craving McDonald's chocolate triangle pie, but I haven't had it yet. I love walking so I can do it without any stress, and I wish it would last forever." Now to the main topic. I broke my arm at the beginning of July and it's been 3 months. I'm sure you're all thinking, why aren't you coming back? I am writing this blog with the thought that you are all thinking, why aren't you coming back? As it turns out, my visa has been renewed and I am still unable to go to the US. The bone has healed completely, although there is still some slowness in movement. I think it will get better in a little while. So now I spend my days in Japan going to physical therapy and going to the gym. Yesterday, I went to a cat shelter with a friend and the other day we went to Disney. I am enjoying myself quite a bit. Recalling a time he was fined by Vince McMahon in WWE, Kurt Angle said this on Not Sam Wrestling. Vince McMahon said, "Hey, we're going to do these pre-tapes, but last week was a disaster because you guys kept breaking character. You guys kept laughing. So this week, if you break character, you get fined $2,000. So I got fined $8,000 because I broke character 4 different times. I started getting serious. I was like, I can't do that anymore. I'm going to lose all my money, so I wouldn't break character anymore. I don't know how I was able to do it." For an update on the health of AEW Sammy Guevara, Ringside News noted that Sammy Guevara has been a regular presence on AEW television since his debut in 2019. Unfortunately, he has been involved in incidents resulting in injuries to his opponents and even to himself. He has been on the shelf after suffering an injury recently and now his in-ring return status has been confirmed. Before the October 2nd episode of AEW Dynamite, Sammy Guevara faced Serpentico in a match. During the bout, Guevara attempted a cutter off the ropes but did not get up afterwards. AEW staff quickly rushed to the ring to check on him, and Guevara was eventually taken off on a stretcher and many feared he suffered an injury. It was later reported that the belief is Guevara suffered a concussion during the match, and so he had to enter concussion protocol. According to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Sammy Guevara has now been cleared for in-ring action following his concussion. Giving a reason as to why Baron Corbin has been absent from televised matches in WWE since July, Fightful Select reported that originally Baron Corbin wasn't sold on the idea of being in a tag team with Apollo Crews, but he grew to like it. However, WWE Creative hasn't been keen on booking them, and the two have worked several dark matches in recent months. A clip of Chris Jericho performing with his band Fozzy was posted by WRKD Wrestling. Mentioning an update on the Mr. McMahon Netflix docuseries, Ringside News wrote that according to Dave Meltzer's latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, the series is no longer in the top 10 for the US, UK, or Australia during its third week of release. However, it managed to hold on at number 9 in Canada. The 6-part documentary made a splash upon its debut, securing the number 4 spot in Netflix's TV section top 10 during its first week, drawing 4.9 million viewers and amassing 28.2 million hours viewed. In its second week, the series remained a top performer, pulling in 3.4 million views and 19.5 million hours, placing 6th in the same category. Despite its early momentum, the series experienced a significant dip in its third week. Netflix's global top 10 cutoff for the week was 1.8 million views, which Mr. McMahon did not meet. One of Netflix's other top international shows, Queen of Villains, also saw its ranking fall, dropping from number 1 to number 7 in Japan. As of Netflix's most recent earnings call, the platform announced that it now reaches 282.72 million homes globally, an increase from the 277.68 million homes it reported 3 months earlier. While Netflix no longer discloses exact regional data, it's estimated that around 27% of its audience is based in the United States. Responding to a clip of The Undertaker and Kane with former US President Donald Trump, Jim Cornette wrote on X, another former great wrestler on the list of alien pod people duped by the world's most repugnant con man. Mark and Glenn, you made it this long with everyone admiring you, then in the end you ruin your reputations and tried to destroy the country along with them. I'm ashamed for you. In that video of Trump, Taker, and Kane, Undertaker would call out Batista for endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris.
All right, everyone, November 5th, Election Mania. Choice is yours. You can go with President Trump, Kane, and The Undertaker, or you can take Kamala Harris, Dave Batista, and Tim Walz. Choose wisely. The nation depends on it.
And that should be an easy choice.
Following SmackDown, Cody Rhodes would speak to fans in attendance and gave a belt to a cancer survivor.
Did you have a good time tonight? Yeah! Really quick question. Raise your hand or make some noise if this is your first WWE event. So I'll ask you again, did you have a good time tonight? I want to thank this wonderful crew right here who've been locking it down all night. Let's give them a round of applause.
Talking about the previous plan for his Money in the Bank cash-in during his time in WWE, Nic Nemeth said this on Stories with Briscoe and Bradshaw. The reason that reaction and that moment happened was 100% the fans. Like, at the time, I was the guy with the briefcase who always kept trying to cash in, would catch a bro kick or something in the face. It got to a point where they thought they were either going to take it off of me, or when I came to cash in, that I wasn't going to get it. I was going to lose the match or something. But the reason the crowds were so great even leading up to that was Vince McMahon at the time. He said, listen, I know you lose a lot. I'm like, about 99% of the time. But he goes, I know you lose a lot, and now with this briefcase you're going to lose even more, and it's going to be a bigger deal. But the next day after you finally cash this in, everything changes. So we did that, kept losing more and more. The boss wanted me to just hit him with a briefcase and pin him, and I begged ranked all day. It ended up with Jamie Noble helping me through it. I was like, boss, I'm being as Canadian as I can. I lose all the time. They're expecting me to lose. Can we take them on a roller coaster first? And he goes, okay, one. Then I fought and I ended up getting like 2 false finishes for him and 1 for me. But I go, it all made sense. The story was there. Del Rio played the part beautifully and the place lost their minds. When it comes to his current goal in WWE, Dominik Mysterio told Foundation Radio, "We're done with Priest and Rhea, the Terror Turds, whatever they like to call themselves, twins 40 years apart. But anyways, now that we've gotten rid of some dead weight in the Judgment Day and we've replaced them with people like Raquel Rodriguez and Carlito, and we've got Liv, it's been really good for the Judgment Day. We have Finn and JD as the World Tag Team Champions. We have Liv as the Women's World Champion. I would say I have some unfinished business with Jey Uso. There's something he has that I might want. Not might. There's something of his that I want. And that's definitely not Rhea. So I don't know. We'll see what the Judgment Day has in store." Touching on a potential WWE show this year, Ringside News wrote that WWE's annual December 26th show at Madison Square Garden has not yet been officially announced, breaking from the usual tradition. Typically, WWE would have already revealed details for the event by this time of the year. Sean Ross Sapp noted on Fightful Select that WWE has sent out press releases and promotional materials for their live events and television tapings through the end of the year, but the MSG show is notably absent from the list. This is very interesting. Despite the lack of an official announcement, there remains hope that the show will take place. Several WWE talents have reportedly confirmed that the December 26th MSG show is still listed in their internal talent relations app as an upcoming event. However, there is no indication yet whether that will change in the coming weeks. When the outlet inquired about the event earlier this year, WWE reportedly indicated during the summer that the show was still in the works. However, by the fall, the company had stopped providing any further updates or information regarding the event. As the date approaches, it remains unclear whether WWE will move forward with the December 26th MSG show. We will have to see what happens, but it is very interesting that WWE hasn't announced this event on an official level. Recalling his release from WWE and his transition to independent pro wrestling, Sidney Akeem, known in WWE as Reggie, said this to Muscle Man Malcolm. When he said that, he wasn't just blowing smoke. I felt the genuineness in his heart. I'm like, man, it felt so good. Then to get the reception from the Chicago crowd, I'm like, man, I told him after the match, I'm like, I almost quit this when I got released or they didn't renew my contract. I'm like, damn, am I really not good enough? Because I did everything that they wanted me to do and I made lemonade out of lemons. I did everything and I'm like, what else could I have done? I know now what else I could have done. I'm like, should I walk away? Should I go back to the circus? It was like, I'm right where I need to be. Now, this is just furthering that decision. It's tough going from the grand stage to the grind. It is tough and it is stressful, but when I'm inside those ropes, it feels good. I'm having fun. Confirming that he will be sticking with WWE for the foreseeable future, commentator for the promotion Michael Cole told WFAN, I still feel like I have a lot left in me. I just signed a long-term deal with the company. I'll be doing this for a few more years. I'll be back on Netflix doing Monday Night Raw in January. Also, Cole revealed why he was absent from the most recent episode of SmackDown, saying, I'm actually leaving tomorrow for Cozumel, Mexico for a 10-day family vacation with the entire family and grandkids. Touching on his firing from TNA Wrestling by parent company Anthem Sports, Scott D'Amore said this to TV Insider. "I look overall at my time with Impact TNA, my second run there, as a very rewarding one. I'm very proud of the work we did. I don't think it's an overstatement to say the company was in shambles when Don Callis and I first stepped in to take over. The work we did even after Don left was pretty fantastic. I think it might be the only time or the best example of this. I'll use a quote someone said after my departure. They said they were taken aback because they'd never seen in the history of wrestling a company revived from the dead the way TNA was. It was not what I wanted. I thought there was work to be done and thought we could get there with the path and vision I wanted to take the company in, but it was owners Anthem Entertainment's decision, which is their right. Was I happy with it? No. Was it by choice? No. Did I agree with it? No. I respect the fact it was Anthem's choice. Have I thought about a time of not being in the wrestling business? Absolutely. I left the wrestling business on a high level for many years and focused on every avenue in business. When I came back in 2017, it was supposed to be a 2 or 3 day consulting thing, but I wish we would have gotten a chance to finish what we started. Such is life in business. The whole world moves on, and part of that is what's next for me is Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling." And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.